Isaac Nayland had witnessed countless military demonstrations throughout his career. He had watched armies march across alien worlds. He had seen battleships test their weapons in the void. He had observed elite soldiers from dozens of civilizations prove their abilities. But the Valkyrin demonstration was different. This was the first time he had attended a military event where the audience wasn't just impressed by violence. They were celebrating it. The arena was enormous. Thousands of Valkyrin spectators filled the stone terraces, their roars shaking the ancient walls as warriors fought below. The sound was not cheering. It was hunger. The Valkyrin were a species built for combat. They were tall, heavily muscled, and moved with terrifying speed. Their reflexes were so advanced that even the best human fighters looked slow by comparison. Every movement was calculated. Every strike had purpose. Their entire culture was built around strength, discipline, and victory. To the Valkyrin, a warrior was not respected because they avoided conflict. A warrior was respected because they survived it. Isaac sat in the diplomatic section above the arena. His dark human uniform stood out among the colorful armor and ceremonial clothing of the Valkyrin officials around him. On either side sat two other human representatives. Neither looked comfortable, and Isaac understood why. Below them, another match began. Two Valkyrin warriors stepped into the arena. The crowd became silent, waiting. The fighters circled each other. Then they moved. Not slowly, not cautiously. They exploded into action. The first warrior attacked with a speed that made Isaac's eyes struggle to follow. A normal human wouldn't have even reacted, but the second Valkyrin did. He blocked, countered, struck. 3 movements, 3 seconds. The match was over. The defeated warrior fell to one knee. The winner placed a blade against his opponent's neck. The audience erupted. They loved it. Isaac watched carefully. Not the fighting, the fighters. Because after every victory, something strange happened. The winning warrior always helped the defeated one stand. There was respect, honor, not hatred. Interesting. The next battle began. Another brutal exchange. Again, it ended in less than 2 minutes. The Valkyrin fighters moved like predators. Fast, precise, deadly, but controlled. Isaac leaned back in his seat. The human observer beside him whispered, "This is supposed to be diplomacy?" Isaac didn't answer immediately. His eyes remained on the arena. "No," he said quietly. "This is communication." The other human frowned. "Communication?" Isaac nodded. Every species reveals itself through what it values. He watched as the Valkyrin champion raised his weapon toward the crowd. They're showing us what they respect. A pause, and they're watching to see what we fear. The next fighter entered the arena. This one was different. Bigger, older, covered in scars from countless battles. The announcer's voice thundered through the arena. "Champion Rakar." The crowd exploded. Isaac studied the warrior carefully. Rakar wasn't just strong. He was experienced, a survivor. The kind of fighter who had faced death many times and walked away. The human observers shifted nervously. "Please tell me humans aren't expected to fight one of them." Isaac remained silent, because at that moment, Rakar looked directly at the diplomatic section. At him. Their eyes met. The Valkyrin champion studied the human ambassador. Not with anger, not with disrespect, with curiosity. Then Rakar spoke. The translator in Isaac's ear activated. "Human." The entire arena became quiet. "You watch our warriors." Isaac slowly stood. "Yes." Rakar tilted his head. "You do not look afraid." 1,000 Valkyrin waited for Isaac's answer. He smiled slightly. "We've spent thousands of years fighting creatures stronger than us." The crowd became completely silent. Isaac continued. "We fought animals faster than us, predators bigger than us, enemies that wanted to destroy us." He looked down at the warrior. "And we survived." For the first time, the Valkyrin champion looked impressed. The arena remained silent. Then Rakar gave a slow nod. Perhaps. His voice echoed across the stadium. Humans are not as weak as we believed. The crowd reacted, not with laughter, not with anger, with respect. And Isaac realized something important. The Valkyrin had invited humanity here to judge them, but they had made one mistake. They thought they were the only ones doing the judging. Then, Princess Kaida entered the arena. The crowd erupted. She was the Emperor's daughter, champion of the Royal Guard, undefeated in public combat. She moved with the kind of confidence that came from never having lost. And Isaac could see why. She dismantled her first opponent in 90 seconds. The second lasted barely longer. The third tried to use defensive tactics, and was overwhelmed anyway. When she stood alone in the center of the arena, breathing steadily, while her defeated challengers were helped away, she addressed the crowd. "The Valkyrin are the greatest warriors in this sector," she declared, her voice carrying effortlessly. "Our strength is not arrogance. It is fact proven through combat, proven through victory." The crowd roared approval. Kaida turned, scanning the diplomatic section, and her eyes locked onto Isaac. "You," she said, pointing directly at him, "the human. I've heard your species claims to be worthy of respect, worthy of alliance. Prove it. Face me here now, and show us what humanity can do." The arena fell silent. Every eye turned toward Isaac. His fellow diplomats looked horrified. One of them grabbed his arm. "Don't. This is a trap. She's trying to humiliate Earth." Isaac stood slowly. "Maybe, but refusing would accomplish the same thing." "Isaac, I accept," Isaac called out, his voice calm and clear. The crowd exploded into cheers and jeers in equal measure. Kaida smiled, and it was not a kind expression. "Tomorrow," she said. "We fight tomorrow. Try not to disappoint me, human." By the time Isaac arrived at the arena the next day, word had spread. The stands were packed beyond capacity. Valkyrin nobles, soldiers, citizens, all of them eager to watch Princess Kaida defeat the overconfident human who had dared to accept her challenge. Isaac's diplomatic team surrounded him in the preparation area, all talking at once. "You can still withdraw. Sight injury, diplomatic protocols, anything. She's never lost a match, Isaac. Never. This is going to be a disaster." Isaac listened patiently, then asked the only question that mattered. "What are the rules?" The team went silent. Finally, one of them answered. "Combat continues until one fighter yields or is incapacitated. Lethal force is prohibited, but everything else is allowed. No weapons. This is about raw capability." Isaac nodded. "Understood. That's it. That's all you have to say. What else is there?" He walked into the arena. The crowd's reaction was immediate. Laughter, jeers. A few scattered cheers from spectators, who apparently enjoyed watching underdogs get destroyed. Across the sand, Princess Kaida waited. She was taller than him by half a foot, visibly stronger, and moved with the kind of fluid grace that came from a lifetime of training. She looked every inch the warrior princess. Isaac looked like a man who spent too much time behind a desk. Kaida stretched, playing to the crowd. "I'll try to make this quick, human, for your dignity's sake." Isaac said nothing. He just watched her. The officiator raised his hand. "Begin." Kaida moved first, closing the distance with speed that made Isaac's diplomatic team flinch. Isaac didn't try to match her speed. He sidestepped, shifted his weight, and let her momentum carry her past him. She spun, surprised. Fast reflexes. Good. This might last 30 seconds instead of 20. She attacked again. This time, Isaac didn't dodge completely. He took a glancing blow to the shoulder, tested her strength, and immediately adjusted his positioning. The crowd was cheering. This was going exactly as they expected, except Isaac was still standing. 2 minutes in, Kaida had landed half a dozen solid hits. Any normal opponent would have been on the ground by now. Isaac absorbed each impact, kept moving, kept watching her patterns. She favored her right side. She telegraphed her power strikes with a slight shift in her stance. She was incredibly fast, but she was using that speed aggressively, burning energy to end fights quickly. Isaac had fought people like this before. Different species, different worlds, same mistake. They always assumed fast meant winning. By the 5-minute mark, Kaida's breathing had changed. Not labored yet, but deeper. She was working hard to maintain her pace. Isaac's breathing hadn't changed at all. She realized it the same moment the crowd did. The cheering faltered. Murmurs spread through the stands. "Why aren't you tired? Kaida demanded. I pace myself. That's not. She attacked again, faster, trying to overwhelm him with sheer aggression. Isaac deflected, redirected, used her momentum against her. He didn't try to overpower her. He didn't need to. He just needed to outlast her. By the 8-minute mark, Isaac went on the offense. Not with power, but with precision. He targeted joints, used leverage, forced her into defensive positions that drained stamina faster than attacking did. Kaida was skilled, exceptionally skilled. But she trained for duels that ended quickly, decisively. Isaac had trained for survival on worlds where fights lasted as long as they needed to, and the only rule was stay alive. The arena had gone quiet. The spectators were no longer watching an execution. They were watching something they didn't understand. They were watching endurance. Kaida threw everything she had at him: speed, strength, technique. Isaac absorbed it, adapted to it, and kept moving, with the same methodical patience he'd had since the beginning. By the 12-minute mark, she was visibly exhausted. By 15, she was struggling to maintain her guard. Isaac didn't celebrate, didn't taunt, just kept the pressure steady, relentless, inevitable. Kaida made one final desperate attack, pouring all her remaining strength into a strike meant to end the fight. Isaac stepped inside her guard, redirected her momentum, and swept her legs out from under her. She hit the ground hard. The impact echoed through the silent arena. Isaac stood over her, too calm and controlled. He extended his hand. Kaida stared at him, breathing hard, pride shattered. Then slowly, she took his hand. He pulled her to her feet. The crowd didn't know how to react. Then gradually sound returned. Not jeers, but something closer to respect. They just witnessed something their culture valued deeply. A warrior who endured. After the match, the Emperor himself approached Isaac in the preparation area. Where did you learn to fight like that? The Emperor asked. Earth, Isaac said simply. We don't have the luxury of quick victories. We fight long wars on harsh worlds against enemies that don't quit. You learn endurance, or you don't survive. The Emperor nodded slowly, understanding crossing his features. You did not humiliate my daughter. You could have. Why? Because that wasn't the point. She challenged me to prove humans are weak. I proved we're not. That's enough. Kaida appeared beside her father, bruised and silent. She looked at Isaac with an expression he couldn't quite read. I underestimated you, she said quietly. Most people do. Why? Because we don't flaunt our strength the way you do. We're quiet about it. That makes people think we're weak. Isaac met her eyes. The quietest fighters are often the most dangerous. We've learned that survival matters more than spectacle. Kaida was silent for a long moment.